If the governor feels that he might not be able to respond adequately,
Yes.
he can pass it on to the chief officer to fast track the process.
That's what I'm trying to.
Yeah, but you are holding a meeting within a meeting, which is not.
Okay, who has the answers? Because remember, this is money collected from the residents of Busia. And if the money collected from residents of Busia cannot be accounted for, then we are not sure about the money that comes from the consolidated fund.
Chair, and the governor should be aware that he's on oath. So if the governor is not ready, he can also tell us so that we take a view. Because if he's holding a meeting within a meeting, or if he thinks that the answers are with the chief officer, and then chief officer should take the oath. Or we interrogate any problem or through the oath of the governor.
Okay, members, since today we are sitting in Busia, we can extend a little bit of clemency to the governor of Busia. But that does not absolve you. You must explain to us why there is a drop.
I'm going to do that once I get, maybe just give me a little bit of time. As we move to another matter, then we can revisit.
Okay, the second matter, honorable members, the second matter, go to the line on parking fees. Governor, note 5. Your parking fees have reduced from 31 million to 29 million. You have given us your global picture, the measures you are taking. How then are we seeing a drop in parking fees? Remember, this is money collected from the people of Busia. Are we collecting and pocketing money? Because these are the symptoms.
Chair.
Senator Wambua?
Chair, you have said that we should extend a bit of our clemency to the governor, which is fine. We'll be guided by your direction. My only fear, Chair, is that from the kind of consultation that I'm seeing happening there is a likelihood that the governor is perhaps seeing these figures for the first time. Because the questions that they're asking themselves and the questions that we're asking, we are all asking the same questions. We're asking them what happened, and the governor is asking his people what happened. So, Chair, that clemency is fine, but please give us guidance on how to deal with it.
Okay, clemency does not mean shielding the governor. He still has to answer. Governor, you have an answer to
Chair, let me ask my former CEC Finance to answer because she was there when this was happening.
Thank you, Chair. I would want to respond on that issue of reduction in the parking fee because, Chair, before we had a place which we were using as parking, the parking place at the border called One Stop Border. So before we were collecting parking fees from there, but when the KRA took over that place, we could now not use it as the parking place, and therefore the people of trucks could not pay the parking fee because they were no longer using that place.
Okay, hold on to that. Go to note 8, hospital fees, from 153 million to 119 million. Why are you handing back the microphone? Oh, that one is not yours. Okay, Governor, it's been brought back to you. Hospital fees has dropped from 153 million to 119 million.
Chair, we have had a lot of industrial unrest in the county here. And this has really affected our service delivery in the health sector. And is one area that we have been trying to address, some of them even historical issues of arrears, some of them issues of promotion, the normal challenges that we are having in the health sector. So that year, we have had quite a bit of challenges in that area.
Is that, Governor, the good thing is that you have been in Parliament.
Yes.
You've been in Cabinet.
Yes.
And you have sat in some of these committees. If a question is put to you on a matter that involves figures, the explanation should also be quantitative, not qualitative.
Okay.
Because if that were to be the case, then you would then come and demonstrate to us, even from the notes, how that happened. Now, for us to be asking these questions, and for you to be asking these questions from your officer,
Yes.
could tell you that there could be something that you need to improve when it comes to your the governance arrangements around revenue. The officer you had referred to, the one who has just answered the last question, what is their role?
That was the Chief Officer Finance before. Sorry, CDC Finance before, and I think they were aware of the incidences that were happening. That's why she told me that she's aware of what happened at that time. But she's no longer the CC Finance.
No, I don't know, Senator Chirarke, you had made some observation with regards to that. Please proceed.
Yeah, I think it casts the integrity of the signing off of these statements of disbursement, especially on county council's revenue. Because if you are saying Topista Naiti Wanyama was the CC Finance, how comes she was the county receiver of revenue, contravening Public Finance and Management Act Section 157? Why was she Honorable Topista Naita Wanyama was county receiver of revenue, contravening Section 157 and its regulations of the PMF Act? So, and the law is very clear, Governor. Would that be the reason that you moved her?
Chair. No, perhaps this question, I don't want the officer to be the one responding.
Yes.
I want the governor
yes,
to tell us who was your receiver of revenue in this financial year.
Chair, I feel like we will lose the parking thing. There's an explanation there that they can complete, then we move to the designated receiver of revenue. Because if you look at note 5 that explains the parking fees, the officer who responded, it makes sense when you say once the trailer park was closed, 2022-2023 you had 26 million from the trailer park fees, and it dropped to 3.49 million. Now explain to me how the one for bus park moved from 2 million to 20 million. What special magic did you play?
Governor?
Did you build new bus parks? Was there a new road that was opened through Busia to I don't know where that more buses were parked? What is the explanation for that? For the reverse growth in revenue?
Through the chair, I think one of the measures that we took when we took over was to try and identify all the revenue collection points, and the number of collection points that we introduced along the ways that initially we were not collecting. That's what enabled us to be able to...
Are you looking at the numbers that Senator Sifuna cited? Are you looking at that note?
Note 5.
So that you know what you're responding to. We don't want theories. This is an exercise that is guided by evidence.
Yeah, because to me, Chair, the explanation on ceding the collection of the trailer parks to KRA would demonstrate or explain why it moves from 26 million to 3 million. Now, with the same logic, what did you do to move your bus park from 2 million to 20 million?
That's 18 million.
What is the explanation?
Thank you, Chair. When we came in, you can see overall the revenue from 22-23 to 23-24 improved. So what happened, that revenue, it was on an improved basis. We combined the parking, the bus parking, with the small car, the single vehicle parking. We combined them together, and there is when the auditors came, they corrected us that we should separate those two revenue streams. So we separated, but by then we just improved it, combined with the car parking that improved that from the previous one. And that is the reason why overall the revenue increased.
Yeah. Senator Wambua?
You have totally lost me.
Chair, Yeah.
No, that one will deal with that one will come. Senator Wambua.
Chair, I don't know about Senator Sifuna, but I feel that question has been responded to because the question was very direct. An improvement from 2 million to 20 million. Now, the reference you're making is even a very erroneous reference because you're saying overall there was an improvement year to year. But when you look at the improvement they're talking about, is less than 2 million. One is 355 for 2022-23, and the other one is 357. I mean, the very marginal improvement. The question that Senator Sifuna is asking is this jump from 2 million to 20 million. Why is it so difficult to respond to that?
Governor, before we get back to Senator Cherargei, because there's an attempt to, there are many statements made on parking fees, statements made on hospital fees, none made on fiscal planning fees, because fiscal planning fees, nothing has been offered so far. Yeah. And the question is, assuming, Governor, assuming Madam Wanyama was to move to Kisumu or another county and she was not in the room, who else would be able to explain these numbers? Why are they not making an attempt? Because it now sounds personalized.
It's not personalized. I think maybe just being part of the team, and you can see she's the one who signed this document. She may be having a better institutional memory.
Yeah,
maybe some of
we are coming to that.
Yes.
We are coming to that. Any attempt to explain fiscal planning drop? Because fiscal planning, we know what happens in counties, is that your officers, they move around, they collect money from developers, and then that money never gets to the county. You know, theft is theft, but there's usually a feeling that when you steal from your constituents, it's a bigger theft than when you're stealing from Nairobi. Lakini yote ni wizi.
Chair, I think something is very interesting.
Senator Gata?
Because it seems that we are actually seeing the same document at the same time. The way we are seeing documents the same way that the entire team is seeing the same document. I don't know whether they are prepared for the team, for the committee. Because nobody seems to have any answer to any of the questions that have been posed around.
So Governor, because I said we are in your county, it's not that I fear you lock us in here, but even though you have that reputation, but but I think that's off the record.
I think Chair Senator Sifuna is
give
a
us
witness.
explanations.
Chair Senator Sifuna is a witness to such. So
no, that's on a very light note. I think let's come back.
Chair, I can confirm that the last time I was in Busia, we had a very good time in Funyula. There was a big bash, and we all left.
Thank you.
So I don't know what Gerard Gay is talking about.
Now, tell us, Governor, what is happening in physical planning and development? This is a clear revenue stream. This one you can't tell us about KRA, about what. This one's people building plan approvals, small things that your officers go around checking. If you are building without an approval, they shut you down. How can it drop? Someone is stealing from the people of Busia. This cannot be industrial action by nurses. This, I think you have exhausted your list of excuses.
Yeah. Thank you, Chair. Before
Senator Wambua?
Before he goes. You know, Chair, there's a question that that you always ask when we are beginning these interrogations. I hear you asking our Secretariat whether they receive these documents and they are ready to engage. I hear you asking the auditors whether they are ready to engage. Chair, is it time that we begin asking the entities if they are ready to engage? Because clearly there is a problem. Clearly there is a problem.
Honorable Chair, on the issue of physical planning.
Please, for Hansard purposes, name and designation.
Wanjala Vincent, Chief Officer Lands, Survey and Housing.
Proceed.
The issue of physical planning is not a constant factor in collection. It depends on other factors in the economy, as availability of disposable income of the communities around. So when people have easily available disposable income, many of them will
That is a lecture in economics. Can you address yourself to that drop of 2.4 million?
Our collection as in the Department of Physical Planning, we collect from those ones who have come to approve their plans. So that year, the number of those ones coming for approvals had reduced. And so explains.
So they come, you don't go out to enforce.
We also go to enforce,
officers?
but when you don't find them in the field constructing, there's nobody who can come and comply.
So what was so unique with that year? What was happening in Busia in that year that people are not constructing?
We are feeling like their disposable income was lower.
But that would reflect generally across the board, because on-source revenue is a reflection of economic activity within an entity. That is a story. That is not an explanation. I think let's come back, because time, we must take a decision. My colleagues are asking whether the county is prepared, but I think there was adequate notice. We must proceed with this exercise, as painful as it is. Senator Cherargei has raised a very important question, which we must address. Who was your receiver of revenue during that period? Because this is a report of the receiver of revenue.
Chair is CC Finance, and maybe she can explain herself.
Does it need I don't think it needs an explanation.
Yes.
What explanation would be required if this is a report of the receiver of revenue? CC, what do you want to explain?
What I want to explain, Chair, with your permission, is that when you look at that section 157, and if someone can read for us, it indicates that the CC Finance will designate persons, more than one person. And in that financial year, I designated more than 10 receivers of revenue.
Are you talking about receivers or collectors?
No, on the issue he has mentioned on how I...
What are you responding to?
Why I signed that document, receive of revenue document, instead of receive of revenue.
Was there a receiver of revenue away from you?
Many of them, as the section indicates.
What does that section say of the PFM Act? Does it talk of receivers of revenue or a receiver of revenue?
And if we allow me to...
Looking at the report of the receiver of revenue for Busia County Executive. Collectors can be many,
yes,
but the receiver is one.
Yes, and we are indicating the receiver of revenue, chairman, because from the statement, if you read it, indicates that CC Financial, in writing, designate persons, and therefore that report refers to received revenue from different receivers of revenue, and me being in charge of them, I signed on behalf of them.
So who are the receivers, even if we are to go with that argument, who are the receivers of revenue that you designated?
The chief officers in different departments.
Were they receivers or collectors?
They were receivers, and they are allowed to appoint the collectors of revenue.
Now, that is your interpretation. Legal...
It can be read.
Well, you are not going to direct us. Legal, please read for us
Chair,
the section.
And Chair, I think I thought this county governor is better in English than where I come from. I thought there is a difference between may or shall. I thought shall is obligatory. So I think at some point your CC might have to take an oath, because the law is very clear, and that is why I asked specifically. So there is the aspect of collectors of revenue and receiver of revenue. Maybe, Chair, with your indulgence, maybe Malcolm, our legal counsel, can read through, I think, section 157.
Clerk?
Yes, Chair. Section 157 states that the County Executive Committee member for Finance shall in writing designate persons to be responsible for collecting, receiving and accounting for such county government.
You can repeat, the governor was consulting through the chair. Can you read again? I think the county attorney in future look for time to advise the governor, not in our meeting. Thank you, Chair.
Yes. Section 157, the County Executive Committee member for Finance shall in writing designate persons to be responsible for collecting and receiving and accounting for such county government revenue as the County Executive Committee for Finance may specify in the letters of designation. Subsection 2, a receiver of county government revenue is responsible to the County Executive Committee member for Finance for ensuring that the revenue for which the receiver is responsible is collected or recovered and is accounted for. Through the chair, section 158 it states that a receiver of subsection 1, a receiver of revenue for a county government may authorize any public officer employed by that county government or any of its entities to be a collector of revenue for the purpose of collecting revenue for that county government and remitting it to the receiver. Subsection 2, any other public officer other than a receiver of revenue or collector of revenue for a county government who collects revenue for that government shall no later than 3 days after receiving it deliver the revenue to a receiver or collector of revenue for that county government. Subsection 3, a receiver of revenue for a county government shall provide quarterly statements to the county treasury with copies to the National Treasury and the Commission of Revenue Allocation.
Now, there is also the regulations that are read alongside that. Collection of revenue, responsibility for revenue management, the responsibility of receivers of revenue. Now, because of time, Governor, you are consuming wrong advice. This is the 47th county that we are dealing with. Your CEC cannot purport to sign the receiver of revenue statement. All other counties have one receiver of revenue. The rest are collectors of revenue. The fact that the word persons has been used in that act does not legitimize the kind of chaos that your CEC is proposing. In fact, many of the counties that have succeeded in improving on-source revenue have established revenue boards. They have designated a receiver of revenue, and even the Assembly has processed legislation to give further effect to the PFM Act and PFM regulations. When your CEC is the one who signs as the receiver of revenue, it's like William Ruto signing for Attorney General because he's the appointing authority. That is utter chaos. And that is why we cannot make sense of this statement. Now, who then takes responsibility if you have multiple receivers of revenue? Where does the buck stop, Governor?
Chair, let me have our attorney maybe help us out in the way we understood this thing, so that if it's a matter of legality, then we can be guided.
Listen,
we
Governor,
can be guided.
You see, I'm trying to be very moderate in today's session because we have not just come to grill you, we have also come to share experiences from the other counties. That situation, and if your county attorney insists on it, it is wrong advice. It is a recipe for chaos. Because tell me, as CEO, if you have 20 receivers of revenue, who are you going to hold responsible for this report? You have been put in an embarrassing situation where you cannot explain movements. You have to refer to 10, 20 people to explain one page of a report. And that is why other counties have one receiver of revenue designated in writing by the CEC Finance. When the CEC Finance takes on the role of being the receiver of revenue, that is an indication that there's a criminal enterprise being run in that county, being coordinated and being led by the CEC Finance. And that is why they want to be the policy maker, they want to be the executor, they want to be the oversight, they want to be everything. They do not trust anybody else to come and see how revenue collection is being done. And Governor, and I'm not saying it is happening in Busia, we have seen it in other counties. That only happens to cover up theft.
Can I explain
Chair,
something,
allow us here to ventilate on
Can
that
I
issue.
clarify?
Okay, maybe you can get the submissions from the members first. And then
Let's ventilate on that issue, Chair. I want to understand from, no, not the governor, because the governor clearly is just being misled. That's exactly what's happening, just being misled. I want to understand from the CEC. Once the law designates a responsibility to you, and that responsibility is specific, you are told appoint, what residue function do you have after the appointment? You've been told to appoint a receiver of revenue. What role in receiving revenue is left in your office? If that can be answered, I'll be very happy. I want to know, because the law is, she has read the law to us. She has been told to appoint in writing. So after you have appointed in writing, what role is left for you to execute in the office of the receiver of revenue?
Chair, in addition, so that the governor can answer both, there was wisdom in drafting of the Public Finance Management Act, the regulations and section specifically, was to provide for the oversight and governance structure.